All right, our next speaker is Nicole Tai. Nicole is the CEO of GreenLynx, a reclaimed building materials company based in Santa Rosa, California. Nicole has been working in the field of deconstruction since 1998, when she began reclaiming materials on the jobs of her family's commercial tenant improvement company. She has managed over 50 deconstruction and reuse logistics projects around the Bay Area and New York, totaling over 1.2 million residential and commercial and institutional square feet. Her environmental career spans 24 years and ranges from green building to home composting. In addition to leading our team of experienced professionals, Nicole's leading a team of experienced professionals, Nicole's concentration at GreenLynx includes increasing the market for reclaimed materials, promoting deconstruction and reuse management, training, client development, and sustainability consulting. Nicole will talk about GreenLynx, a store located in Santa Rosa, which is currently expanding to include reclaimed furniture and finished products, a reclaimed lumber retail and receiving yard, and on-site pickups of reclaimed lumber. Nicole Tai will also briefly discuss the recent deconstruction workshop that GreenLynx hosted along with the EPA and the amazing group formed out of this gathering. Please welcome Nicole.
Okay, good morning. Let's see, gotta get all the traffic out of my brain. So thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to follow up from Terry. It's always great to hear what they're doing up there. We went to Portland in October for the BMRA conference, and we're just blown away. And I've got a little bit about what's going on in Portland. So that's our group. We've got a couple extra people that are not in the picture, but we started our store. It took us about 3 years to find a property in Santa Rosa. We're fighting the growing cannabis industry there in terms of finding space. So that was a really big challenge. We're basically a mini urban noir. We're really tiny in comparison, but we're trying to save as much as we can. We deconstruct buildings, so we got to find places for it. So we actually have 4 divisions, but our 4th is construction. So I figure you probably don't want to hear about that. But so our reuse store, we have everything from appliances to plumbing fixtures and lumber. And our deconstruction division, we do houses, commercial wood structures. We also do kind of reuse logistics projects for big high rises, and Dolby was like a recent client. So we kind of do and we feel like Santa Claus when we do it. We invite nonprofits over to take all the materials when companies are doing move-outs, and we do even small remodels. So our Woodworks, we just opened. We're still working on our showroom. And we're making tables, doors, and benches, and we'll do flooring and a couple other things. So that's our reclaimed lumber yard, and it's not really a yard, it's a parking lot. So we're trying to get some space right behind our building because we have 14 parking spaces and only 3 of them are open. So the rest are filled with materials. So reclaim wood is, ranges from furniture grade to modern structural lumber, which actually can be reused in structural applications in the state of Oregon. So it's something that we're working on. I'll talk a little bit about that later. But in this picture, you can see the gorgeous saw marks from when it was milled, probably in the 1920s. That's our reuse store, or part of it. That's our cabinetry view from above. We do deconstruction on a regular basis, and we try to save all the lumber and bring it back to our store. Unfortunately, we used to bring a lot of the material from full deconstruction projects that were donated to the away station. The away station closed, sadly, last weekend. And so now we are going to kind of create a new partnership with the Reuse Alliance, which those of you might remember that I've been up here before talking about the Reuse Alliance. So the Reuse Alliance is going to start doing some brokering, and we'll be probably donating a lot to Habitat for Humanity and other local nonprofits as well when we do deconstruction for donation. But we do deconstruction for non-donation, where we give them a credit for the materials that we buy from them. And but we have very unique scenarios where that happens to be economical for people. Right now, like a big tax deduction helps cover the costs of deconstruction. A typical deconstruction project is about 3 times more than demolition in terms of labor costs. It's about 1,000 square feet. 1,000 square feet takes us about a week to do by hand, and something like that takes an excavator about an hour and maybe 2 days of cleanup. So big difference in terms of jobs available and labor costs. So our custom woodworks, we're really excited. We in the fall found out that the Wooden Duck, those of you who might have heard of the Wooden Duck, they were a store in Berkeley that did reclaimed furniture for 23 years. They went out of business, and I called Eric, and he was selling all his equipment, and we bought it all, and we have it in a store 2 doors down from our reuse store, and it's really exciting. We have our woodworkers busy taking our lumber and turning it into tables, and so we got the Wooden Duck designs, and we're doing our own designs as well. So if any of you were fans of the Wooden Duck, it's still alive, just in GreenLynx. So we had a really great meeting in December at the EPA with local governments. Cal Recycle was there, and we're hoping to get Bay Area Air Quality Management District there at one of our future meetings, but we're trying to meet quarterly. And the goal of this organizational, I'm not sure what it is yet. We're still trying to figure it out. So if anybody has any ideas on what we call this thing. But our goal is to try to come up with standards that we can all agree on, whether it's encouraged or suggested standards or actual standards that we all follow. Right now, as a contractor, when I go into a different municipality or a different county, depending on where the property is, everyone has different regulations and different forms to fill out. So it's a lot of work. It's very confusing. Some people have 65% recycling rates, and others have reuse thrown into there, and some people don't, and so it's kind of hard to know who expects what in terms of materials reclamation from deconstruction or demolition projects. So just to let you know really quickly, 65% of the materials is required to be recycled from a job site, but what they're required to do is bring it to a facility that recycles 65%. That doesn't mean that the materials from that job site actually result in 65% diversion. So think about that for a minute. Sacramento is working on making that a different reality. So if you are able to come and join us, it's on Thursday at the EPA. We might be able to get you in. Unfortunately, EPA is really hard to get in now, so there's a high security. So quickly, I wanted to just give you an amazing quick update on what happened in Portland. They passed a deconstruction ordinance that requires deconstruction of buildings 1916 and older, and they'll be changing that to 1940, I think 41 or so in 2020. And so far they've already had 37 deconstruction projects in the first year of the ordinance, and they've certified 14 contractors in collaboration with the BMRA. And they've had 2 new companies come into existence, but I think it's probably more than that. It's pretty amazing what's happening up there. If you go to Oregon, do a tour of their deconstruction and reuse facilities. It's amazing. It'll blow your mind. And they're all happy. They're all really happy. but they're in Portland, so they're happy. So we have a national association. It's called the Building Materials Reuse Association. It is our industry association, and it's also a nonprofit. So it's built on the idea that we're trying to come together as an industry to make sure that everybody knows what we do, how we do it, and we're trying to make sure that we certify everybody. So if you are a city or a county and you're looking for someone to tell you how to do it, go to the BMRA, and they will help you learn how to certify people. So lots of great things going on. There's also reusewood.org, and it's a national listing of building materials reuse businesses. So if you're not on there, you should be, and I don't even know if I'm on there. I need to work on that. So some really great opportunities for growth. The deconstruction meeting. We're also, GreenLynx is seeking transfer station partners to take materials from. We're on the other opposite end. We're looking for manufacturing opportunities for reclaimed wood for building materials. So we're trying to get the building code in California changed so we can provide reclaimed lumber for structural use, which they do in Oregon. I just want to say how we spend our money matters. If you think about how much money we put into recycling, it's probably in the billions. And how much money do we spend on reuse? Nothing. So the only people that are spending money on reuse are the people that are shopping at reuse stores. We have some small grants for nonprofits, and small businesses are really putting in their own money. And big thanks to my mom. So think about that. You're going to get the number of dollars that you put into recycling. You get tons and tons and tons of materials recycled. And if you don't put any money into reuse, you're not going to get a lot of tonnage. So just wanted to give you some fun pictures, but I know my time is up. So I will be hopefully seeing some of you on Thursday, and that's my contact information. That's a fun picture. I'm sure everybody, I'm preaching to the choir here. That's my aunt's house in Porto Vecchio, Corsica. They've never had snow before. It's on the Mediterranean. That was about 1 foot a couple weeks ago. Questions, hands, nice and high. Right here.
Hi, just wondering if you have trainings for contractors about how to reuse materials, because I know there's sometimes contractors are just buying materials for the jobs. Just curious if they understand and are practically using them.
We work with general contractors on a regular basis. That's usually who actually hires us to do deconstruction. So we train them as best as we can, as much as they're willing to listen. Some are more willing than others. The BMRA does do trainings, but they really are more focused on training demolition companies or companies that are interested in becoming deconstruction companies. So that's definitely something to work on. But in our daily practice, we're working to train contractors, and we get people in our store all the time interested. But we do trainings. We just did an EPA training up on in Hopland for a tribe to help them with their. They've got a lot of trailers on their lands, and it's actually a nationwide problem. So it's a program that the EPA is working on, and they've hired a bunch of deconstruction firms to help them do trainings on tribal lands. So.
Hi, I was curious if you have to treat the wood at all for termites?
In Oregon, they do. They have a real problem with it up there. We don't as of yet, but that may change as our climate changes. But right now we don't. We just make sure we cut all the ends off. Usually any boards that come in with termites, they immediately go out just so that we don't have that problem. But it may turn out to be a problem in the future. But we're so, especially in Santa Rosa, it gets so hot there, it kills everything. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you have to have the right end, don't So you alluded very quickly to mobile homes. Mobile homes, of course, are a national problem. Old pre-77 mobile homes. They
Yeah.
have a lot of hazmat associated with them. Plus, they're expensive to deconstruct. Are you dealing with that at all as part of your deconstruction? The hazmat portion, being trained for that? And after the hazmat is left, are you deconstructing that mobile homes?
Yes, we actually, so the project that we did in Hopland, the trailer was hot. It had asbestos, but luckily it was actually only in pretty much in the caulking around the roof. So we lucked out on that one. We do lead testing as well. So our company, most remodelers, anyone that does our kind of work needs to be lead certified, but we're not asbestos certified. And the reason for that is then it changes our workers' comp rate, so it just doesn't make any sense for deconstruction companies to do it too. We had one company, Marcan Enterprises, they endeavored to do it, and then they just decided it would ruin their workers' comp rate for their deconstruction workers, so it just didn't make any sense. But so it is doable. It is more costly, obviously, to deconstruct, but tribes have the unique problem of not having jobs and not having enough work to do. So it's actually a great thing, and then they recover the materials locally, and they can reuse parts of the trailers and other trailers on the reservations and the rancherias. So it kind of it makes a little bit more sense in the tribal world than it does, otherwise. But we actually, funnily enough, deconstruct them a lot.
And do you, can I follow up, do you have any affiliates up in Oregon that do that?
We don't, but I'm sure that the Rebuilding Center probably does. My business partner used to do it a lot in Montana, so surprising. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks again.